Hi guys, this is Tablet-News.com and I'm here with a tablet called the Evolio Quattro HD, and I'm here to review this device. Evolio is a brand from Romania, so Eastern Europe, and this tablet is actually very affordable. It's a 7-inch slate that we're dealing with here, and it was launched in early April with a price tag of initially $120, and now it has gone down to $93. So a 7-inch slate that costs below $100, of course that interests us. And now let's get to the review and let's check out this model's design first, then the specs, and then everything else. So the Evolio Quattro HD measures 9.5 millimeters in thickness. It weighs 330 grams and it has a typical design that seems more oriented to landscape, if you ask me, because the tablet is very long. And also it has a typical 7-inch tablet format. It uses a plastic case with a good grip. The back doesn't exactly feel like plastic, it's made to feel a bit like rubber, and that's why it offers good grip. Let's see what else. We got a pretty solid build. The case does not creak. It feels pretty solid to withstand a drop from about 1 meter, maybe even 2, but I wouldn't try that. I also like the up and down bezels, or the side bezels if you hold the tablet like this. They're good for gaming and video watching. You hold the tablet like this, excellent gaming. Now at the top we have the audio jack right here. We have a reset hole next to it, then the mini HDMI port, and then the microSD for charging and connectivity to PC and other stuff. At the back we only have the speaker holes here and a lot of logos, while on the sides we have the microSD card slot on the right side, and on the left side the volume buttons and the on-off button that will answer your comments pretty well, so have good feedback through these buttons. Up front there's the camera, front camera, and the display right here. I would call the design of this tablet okay, considering it costs less than $100. I'm willing to make some concessions and call it an okay design that we'll have to adjust to. Now on the hardware side, well, we have a CPU that's an Allwinner A31S, a quad-core clocked at 1.2 GHz, and the GPU sounds pretty good for gaming actually. It's an 8-core unit, PowerVR SGX 544 MP2. The screen I'm playing with right now, it's a 7-incher. It's an IPS screen with a resolution of 1024 over 600 pixels. Inside we have 8 GB of storage, plus that microSD card slot that will offer you an extra 32 GB, and the RAM is 512 MB of DDR3. The camera up front is a 0.2 megapixel shooter, and we also have Wi-Fi, mini HDMI, and support for a 3G modem connected to this device, preferably a Huawei model. The battery available inside this device is a 2700 mAh unit, and in our test that involved continuous HD video playback with Wi-Fi on, we achieved 3 hours and 21 minutes of continuous HD playback with brightness at 50% and Wi-Fi on. This is above the Sirius S718 tab, another Romanian tablet that I tested a while ago, that achieves 3 hours, so we beat it. However, it's not impressive that we get 3 hours and 21 minutes here. It's pretty weak, but battery has been sacrificed for the sake of a lower price. The charging time of the battery is 2 hours and 10 minutes, and as I said, the battery is slightly weak and has been sacrificed by the price, 3 hours 21 minutes. Now as far as the audio is concerned, let's go to the music player. Here it is. It's the stock music player, don't expect anything extra. We got a bunch of music here, but let's use the YouTube copyright stuff. Okay, so these are the speaker holes, a pretty small speaker here. Let's actually give it a go. And let's try this tune. I'm searching for this one. Let's turn on the volume. You can also activate sound effects like an equalizer Play with the decibels here, some bass boost, 3D effects also. Okay, now the conclusions. I would say that the volume is decent, the bass is pretty weak, and the songs with voice actually have a clear voice and clarity is okay, although at maximum volumes, if you're listening to rock tunes, you will hear a slight distortion. As you saw, we also have the sound effects typical for the stock musical app. We have FX booster, bass boost, and presets like normal, classical or rock. Overall, it's okay for such a small speaker on a small tablet with a small price. And next we move to the screen, 7-inch IPS 1024 over 600 pixels. This is where I'm going to use a test video to showcase the abilities of the screen. By the way, this is the 4K player, it's bundled with the device. We have vivid colors and wide view angles. You can still watch what happens on the screen, even if you tilt it. It's an IPS, so the view angles are wide, but the reflection of light doesn't quite allow you to see exactly what happens on the screen, but you can still watch it. Okay, so the idea of the display is that we get vivid colors and wide viewing angles and pretty decent reflectivity. I've tested it in the sunlight, and by the way, the screen has a special protective layer on top of it, plastic. It's offered straight from the factory. And now, as far as the brightness is concerned, we use the lux meter to measure the brightness of the tablet, and we achieved 238 lux units, and the pixels are of the RGB stripe kind. And this tablet with this brightness is almost as bright as the Samsung Galaxy Tab 3 Lite that achieves 265 lux units. We're far from it, but still in the same range. Frankly speaking, the brightness of the tablet was good enough for me to play some games. By the way, we're at maximum brightness right now, and as you can see, it's decent. It's not like you're missing out on any details or something like that. And as I said, the games looks just fine. Now we go into the settings area, and here in the display area, you'll see some settings like sleep, font size, accelerometer coordinate, G-sensor calibration, and screen adaptation. This one is supposed to be done specifically for games, and there aren't exactly options per se, but they're here. Screenshot button visible, HDMI full screen mode, size adjust, output modes in various hertz settings, and those are the display settings that you can mess around with. As I said, the display is decent, not the best display out there, but it will have to do. As far as the camera goes, we have no back camera whatsoever. We only have this front camera that we're going to use for, I don't know, video calls or maybe taking a selfie. Its options include the panorama, effects, exposure, face detection, and even time-lapse. While playing games on this tablet, I noticed a slight overheating, and I'm being pretty generous when I'm saying slight. This is the thermometer showing towards the back of the tablet. We achieved a very impressive, negatively impressive, 52 degrees Celsius when playing a pretty high-end graphics game. I have to admit that. If you play lower-end games, the tablet does not get hot. If you play higher end games, it gets overheated. So 52 degrees Celsius, that's serious overheating, but not the entire tablet, only a certain area, the area behind the front camera, so about here. If you're playing a portrait game, you don't even touch that area, but if you're playing a landscape game, you may hold the tablet like this and avoid the overheating below the camera area. So slight overheating problems, you can avoid it if you're smart enough, or keep playing lower end games. But this model does run the likes of Riptide GP or Asphalt 8. And now the browser. This is the shop that Evolio offers on this device. And now let's access Tablet-News.com. Here we go. It's not the fastest browser in the world, but it does the job. We got smooth scrolling. And we got pinch to zoom. And a bunch of news for you to check out and reviews. Okay, now we move further to the software. I'm sure you're interested about that. we got here is Android Jelly Bean in the flavor Android 4.2.2, and there's no customization from the company Evolio. We only have this screenshot button, and the rest includes standard widgets, of course, plus the ones that apps generate associated to them. Multitasking like this, with a swipe up to close down stuff. Lots of open apps here. And the dual drop down thingy, this one for shortcuts and this one here for notifications. Okay, it's time for benchmarks, and I'm going to go to the gallery yet again, screenshots, and I decided to compare the Evolio Quattro HD with the Samsung Galaxy Tab 3 Lite, and here goes. The first test is quadrant. Well, in quadrant we scored 5,288. We beat the Galaxy Tab 3 Lite that scored 3,048 points. In Antutu we also beat it. We scored 19,000 points, and the rival, the Samsung model, scored 11,000 points. Next up, very impressive score in Mark II, 63.6 frames per second. The Samsung Galaxy Tab 3 scores 48.8 frames per second. In Velamo we scored 1166. This is where we got beaten by the Galaxy Tab 3 Lite with 1502 points. And proceeding further, we got 3D Mark. Here's the score. In 3D Mark we scored 4849 points, almost doubling the score of 2576 of the Galaxy Tab 3 Lite, while the browser test had a pretty low score, 1485, that even in this case bested the Galaxy Tab 3 Lite, which scored 1471. And then we got a very low score in SunSpider. And finally we tested the speed of the tablet, and this is where we were impressed. It does 20 megabytes per second in download and 14 megabytes per second in upload. So pretty impressive, considering the results are pretty similar to the ones of an iPhone 5, for example. Okay, so the Evolio Quattro HD beats the Samsung Galaxy Tab 3 Lite. That's expensive, that's a bit more expensive than this model by about a few dozens of dollars. Okay, now in the settings area, I'm going to have a look here. You won't find much difference compared to a stock Android device. Everything from the app settings to the language and input, backup and reset, security, and we got developer options to play with here. We got protect SD card, HDCP checking, so if you want to output HDMI signal and record it, you can strip the HDCP apparently. Mock location, CPU overdraw, so developer options that a normal user shouldn't actually toy with, but if you know that and if you play with them, you should have some fun. Okay, now in the list of pre-installed apps we find stuff like the 4K player from before, we have Adobe Reader, we have a local Romanian app for buying cars, selling cars, listing them. It's basically sort of an eBay of cars, available locally. Phone number, the car features and all that. And other apps include the usual calculator, calendar, camera, clock, downloads, Dropbox that we installed, wasn't pre-installed. We have an e-manual, we have EvoBook, that's basically your one-stop shop to download books from Evolio and also read them. It sends you to their website where you can find a large number of titles, even some bestsellers, and this is their book reading application. We have pre-installed Facebook, we have a file manager with a very basic user interface, and we have an app called High Quality MP3 Recorder, once again very basic user interface. Just press the button, record audio in MP3. We have Flash Player, Gmail, Maps, navigation, news and weather, and another local app, Online Press. This one shows you the titles of the day, and it also has a nice widget associated to it. Okay, and also pre-installed Pinterest and an app called See Now HD that will offer you access to movies, TV shows and other programs, which is pretty cool if you like to watch movies and series on the go. In the area of and others, I have to say that this tablet supports playback for basic formats and important formats like FLAC, WMA, MKV and MOV, and it comes with a warranty of 2 years. So 2 years of warranty for the Evolio Quattro HD. Now the end of the review has come. It's time for the pros and cons. Obviously on the pro side we got the fact that it runs new games. Here we go. I also have a screenshot to prove that statement. This is it. As you can see, we've played Riptide GP2, so it runs new games like Asphalt 8 and Riptide GP2. The price is very low, below $100. It has a mini HDMI port right here, and it also has no lag. While you saw me using the tablet, I didn't face any lag, any annoyance, anything, although I keep my task manager pretty close by. Also, we have good Wi-Fi speed. The benchmarks are higher than the Galaxy Tab 3 Lite. We have a pretty good grip and a solid case. Now, on the downside of things, well, the battery life could be better than 3 hours. We have no back camera. We have an overheating problem here where the camera would be, and not a very bright screen as you saw from the test, but it's a manageable screen. Okay, now let's give it some grades. Keep in mind it's a tablet that costs less than $100, so for the design we give it a 9 out of 10, for the hardware another 9, and for the operating system and user interface a 9. Plus for the price we give it a 10 out of 10. And doing the mathematical average of these grades, we get a 9.25 out of 10 for the Evolio Quattro HD. This is a tablet for the early gamer, for the kid, for the parent who doesn't want to spend too much on his kid's tablet. A basic package below $100, something to give the child for the holiday and to play the most basic of games. You can connect it to the TV set via HDMI, watch a movie, play a game, so it does everything you need in the most basic level with a price below $100. So the Evolio Quattro HD gets from Tablet-News.com a 9.25 out of 10. Bye bye.